Hello everyone, today we're going to continue with places to eat on the Royal Mile. So this is where, this is where we left off, right here on the Royal Mile. World's End pub right there, which I told you about before. What's been cool is after I did the first part of this, a lot of you have been commenting because you've already been to Edinburgh and saying, oh we ate there, it was good. World's End's already had some good reviews by you guys, and the Royal McGregor back at the Royal Mile, which I mentioned in part 1, that's got some great reviews. So it's good to know that some of the places I'm telling you about you've been to and you enjoy to eat at. I can't remember if I told you about this pub opposite the World's End. I don't think I did. So we'll start there with number 1 the High Street. And the reason that's number 1 the High Street, just in case you didn't know, history, not food, sorry, is because right where we are here, the World's End, number 1 the High Street, this is where the gates to the city used to be. If you remember the gold bricks that I've mentioned in some of the other videos, they're on the ground here on the road, have a look. They mark out where the gates to the city used to be, so this was the start of the city, hence the World's End. End of the world of Edinburgh. Number 1 the High Street. The start of the High Street. See? There we go. Anyway, let's continue down and see where you can eat in the Royal Mile. Now there's less places to eat, doesn't mean there's none, so don't not come down here. I learned to talk proper at school, I did. So straight away we've got the bistro right opposite. And also behind me there, you see that right there? That's an old police box, you know, like a Doctor Who style police box. Yeah, they were real things. And a lot of them have now, the police don't use them. Police haven't used them for years and years, like decades. So they've all been sold off and they've all been turned into little bistro, little cafes where you can just pick up a muffin and things like that. Opposite that, we have the White Horse, oyster and seafood. I don't know what they sell in there. And then we've got Mimi's Bakehouse. I can't, I really want to, but I can't. I've got to be good, I'm trying to lose weight. Stop it, you're a bad influence. Wedgwood Restaurant. What's nice is there are some, I mean that's a nice restaurant there. I've never actually eaten it, but it looks nice, you know, beautiful and clean and tidy. And then we've got little places like this that are just little places where you can pick up a bite. There's a lot of this at this part. Little places where you can nip in and get something. But you've got Luscious here, a little bistro if you want a small thing. It's funny as I get older, because I don't know if you've noticed, but there's just 1 or 2 grey hairs in there. Actually they're not grey, they're just lack of pigment. Not grey, lack of pigment. For some reason I'm starting to like things like bistros and things for little bits of food. I don't know what that says about me. However, I still prefer a fryer. Opposite us, Pancho Villa's Mexican food. Because there's nothing better than coming to Scotland and having some traditional Scottish Mexican food. Toffee, another little cafe bistro here. And that cafe says it's Turkish and Mediterranean cuisine. Again, I talk proper. Turkish and Mediterranean cuisine. So you know I'm only 100 metres down the road right now, and I said there wasn't a lot of places to eat here. I was wrong. Don't listen to me, why do you watch these videos? I'm full of rubbish. And then opposite, Canongate. Nice little place you get pub food. And we all know I like a bit of pub food. After that initial sort of burst of restaurants there, you've got a bit of a gap. Now I'm going to say it, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Come down this end of the Royal Mile. It looks like there isn't a lot to do, but there is. I know I'm only on food right now and that's what I'm showing you, but there are other things to do down here. Please come down. There's a couple of cool free things to do, which I didn't actually add in to my top 5 free things to do in Edinburgh. And I will tell you them at some point, but it's not what this is about today. But come down, explore it, go into the Museum of Edinburgh. It's free. Damn it, I told you. I'm rubbish at this. I can't keep a secret. So come down to these places. Now, just off the Royal Mile here, and I know last time I said I wasn't going to tell you things off the Royal Mile because I would end up really going into things, but I am going to point out this bit right here. Where they're building a lot of stuff here. There's been a massive big complex being built here with restaurants and shops and things. But right here, this little bit here, the food and flea market it's all street food, things like that, where you can just sit out and have a little bit of street food. It's actually got some really nice stuff there, so it's literally just off the Royal Mile. You can count that. So after that, you've got a little bit of a gap. Not a lot, but a little bit. But you know, this'll do nicely. I do like a good pun. Yeah, there's a bit of a gap where you're not really going to get a lot of food, but it's not a big gap. And there's a chippy on the other side of the road. I've said we like a chippy, you know we like a chippy here, we do like our fried food. But in the window there's a big neon light saying deep fried Mars bars. A lot of people think the deep fried Mars bar is a myth, and it doesn't really exist, and it's just something that's all made up to say how unhealthy the Scottish are. Well, yeah, it's real, so in your face. Then opposite the chippy you've got the toll booth tavern. I just cannot talk today, what's going on? Opposite the chippy you've got the toll booth tavern. Again, nice little quirky, historic kind of tavern pub. Nice pub food. Then we've got like a just little sandwich cafe place. So yeah, you've got a lot of nice little things you can eat here at. A lot of choices, and it's a bit quiet. The good thing about coming down this end is it's a bit quieter than up the main section of the Royal Mile, because that's where everything happens. You come down here, you get a little bit of peace, a little bit quiet, you're still in the Royal Mile and you get to eat some food. Oh, I know I wasn't going to say another two free things to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. Right behind me, this little thing here that looks like nothing. See this little building here? It's the People's History, People's Story. Go in there, that's a nice little museum. And then opposite, the Museum of Edinburgh. Now, it looks tiny, and I will go in there at some point, but it looks like that. It looks like that's all it is, but it's not. It's all of this building as well. And it actually goes really quite far back. It's about 3 floors and it goes quite far back. It's got a lot of cool little things about the history of Edinburgh, including Greyfriars Bobby's collar is in there. Touches your heart a wee bit, doesn't it? So go in there, have a look. It's really good. I was surprised when I went, and I only did it really recently, and I was like, this is actually really good, and it's completely free. Yeah, go in there. Anyway, back to what we're supposed to be talking about, food. Right beside that you've got a nice little cafe. And then, because nowadays you can't go a mile without hitting another one, Starbucks. Now, if I'm not going to stop, say don't go into Starbucks. If you want a Starbucks, go to Starbucks. They do a lovely toasted sandwich. But when you come, I'm going to say it again, when you come to places in Scotland, in Edinburgh, or anywhere in Scotland, please try the local cuisine. Because these little places, you will find little gems, real little gems. You want to try them all. I know that sometimes it's difficult, and I've done it myself. You go away abroad somewhere and you want just something that tastes a little bit familiar sometimes, and that's absolutely fine, and that's why these places exist, so that it's the same all around the world and you can go, yeah, I want a bit of that. But be brave, try a lot of things. I'm lecturing a little bit today, I'm gonna. Look, traditional Scottish art. Now, the next one here, Clarinda's Tea Room. On the first video, on the comments, loads of you commented that you'd came here and you'd went to Clarinda's Tea Room and you loved it. So I'm going to big it up. I'm taking this is me now passing on your comments and advice. So yeah, Clarinda's Tea Room by you guys, both the Busy Blonde and Sarah J, who both commented saying they'd been here and they thought it was great. Go here. Opposite Clarinda's Tea Room, you've got Hog, which is a pulled pork kind of place. It's more a takeaway than a sit-in. They've got a couple of little tables in there, but truthfully it's more of a takeaway. And then behind me, Kilderkin. Now it's Kilderkin now as a pub, and it used to be called a different thing, which, you know, when things change all of a sudden you can't remember, and I can't remember what it used to be called. But it's a nice big pub. It's got a lot of good pub food in there, but there's a really cool story about this place that I want to tell you. The Scottish Parliament brought in a law a few years ago to sort of curb binge drinking. So happy hours weren't allowed. Pubs weren't allowed to change the prices of a drink for a short period of time. They said that if any licensed property wanted to change the price of anything, it had to be for a minimum of 3 days, which meant they couldn't do happy hours anymore. That's why you won't get any happy hours in Scotland. You can't do it. It's illegal. We can't do it. So, this, the Kilderkin, is the closest pub to the Scottish Parliament. So they invented happy 3 days. So from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they lowered the prices, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they put it back up, which is genius, which was really funny. I loved that. I think I don't know how you could say more about describing the Scottish people, really. They went, okay, so you don't want us to binge drink for an hour, that's fine, we'll do it for 3 days instead. And then last, but by no means least, of our journey through places to eat on the Royal Mile. We are right at the bottom of the Royal Mile now, Holyrood Palace right in front of me, Scottish Parliament right beside me, and I'm going to say the Scottish Parliament. There is a little cafe in the Scottish Parliament. As soon as you go in, it's right in front of you on your left hand side when you go in. Again, it's free to go in, and it's actually a nice little cafe. You can go in and you can have a cup of tea. Now, it's not open on a Sundays, remember that. So if you want to go in and have something on there on a Sunday, you can't. But why not? Go in. It's free. Have a nice little cup of tea in there as well. And that kind of brings us to the end of this journey of places to eat on the Royal Mile, guys. Thank you so much for all the little comments on the first one. You seem to really enjoy that sort of stuff, so it's great that you guys have been pushing me to do this second part. I get distracted, I know, I just can't help it. I've really got a short attention span. Please let me know stuff that you want me to do, because I'll quite happily just keep churning out what I think's interesting, but it actually means a lot more to me if I'm making something that you guys have asked for. So you guys wanted this, it was a lot of fun to do the second part, even though I'd already done the first part, because I know you wanted me to do it. I'm rambling. Next week's video as well, actually, is a suggestion. But yeah, I think that's about it today, guys. As always, if you like the video, you know, do that thumbs up thing and subscribe. But till next time, bye humans.